Hey guys, in this video I'll be solving Igcse past paper for biology from June 1994. Question number 1. The table lists 6 of the 7 characteristics of living organism. What is the 7th characteristic? Now, by looking at this table, if you remember the phrase Mrs. Gren, you will know right away that M is missing in this table, which is movement from this option. So the answer to this question is C, movement. Number 2. Which characteristic of living organisms is shown by this equation? Water plus carbon dioxide, which is helped by sunlight and chlorophyll, which then produces sugar plus oxygen. This formula shows photosynthesis. But there's no photosynthesis in the option. Excretion is the removal of waste products from our body. Reproduction is the production of the same offspring. Respiration is the opposite of this formula. The answer for this question is B, nutrition. Because nutrition is considered as photosynthesis, because nutrition is taking in the food substance, just like what photosynthesis does. So the answer for this question is B, nutrition. Question number 3. Which substance is absorbed from the soil by plants to make proteins? Now let's look at carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is taken by the plants to make photosynthesis to produce glucose. Oxygen is released by the plant and it is not used to make proteins. Vitamins are produced by the plants, so it is definitely not absorbed. So the only answer left is nitrates. Now plants absorb nitrates from the soil and use these to build up proteins. So the answer is B. Question number 4. The diagram shows a type of fruit. Using the following key, what is this type of fruit? So number 1. Sepals fall off as soon as the flower is fertilized. Sepals do not fall off as soon as the flower is fertilized. As you can see on the diagram, sepals are still there, so it does not fall. So we're going to go to number 3. Fruit splits to release several seeds. Fruit splits to release only one seed. You can see on the diagram that there are several seeds, so the answer is C. Question number 5. What is the function of human red blood cells? A. To absorb heat. That is definitely not the answer because red blood cell does not absorb heat. B. To carry oxygen. Red blood cells does carry oxygen. C. To destroy bacteria. This is done by white blood cells. D. To make antibodies. This is also done by white blood cells. So the answer to this question is B, to carry oxygen. Now red blood cells does not only carry oxygen, but it also removes carbon dioxide from your body. So red blood cells are very important for your body. Question number 6. Which diagram shows the position of the nucleus in the palisade cell? The most logical answer for this question would be B, because the nucleus for a palisade cell should only be found in the cytoplasm. So the answer for this question is B. Question number 7. Which of the following is a tissue? Let's look at A. Eye is an organ made out of tissue. B. Leaf is an organ, and so is D. Stomach. So the answer is C, muscle, which is made out of a single type of cell. Question number 8. Which of the following lists the structures from the simplest to the most complex? The simplest should always start from cells, so we can already eliminate C and D. since C starts from organ systems and D starts from tissues. Now let's look at A. It starts from cells to an organ, to organ systems, to tissues. Now, tissues gather to form an organ, so the tissues should come before an organ. So the only one left is B, which is cells, tissues, organs, organ systems. This is the correct answer. Question number 9. By which process does oxygen pass from the alveoli of the lungs into the blood? Let's skip A and look at B. Osmosis is a diffusion of water, so this does not relate to oxygen. C is a respiration. Respiration is the breaking of bigger food molecules to smaller molecules for energy, so this does not relate as well. D, transpiration. Now, transpiration is the evaporation of water in plants. So the answer to this question is A, diffusion. Number 10. The diagram shows the concentrations of glucose in two cells X and Y. If cell X and cell Y come in contact, the concentration of glucose in each cell begins to change. When will there be no further change? The answer for this question is A, because both of them will be equal and the diffusion will stop. So when the diffusion stops, there will be no further changes happening. Question 11. A student set up an experiment to investigate the effect of a mammalian enzyme on cooked egg white. At which temperature would the enzyme be most active? The answer for this is B, 40 degrees. First of all, it says mammalian enzyme, and we humans are mammals. So the temperature should be closer to our body, which is around 36.5 to 37 degrees. So the enzyme would mostly be active around 40 degrees. So that is why the answer is B. Question number 12. The graph shows how pH affects the activity of 4 enzymes. Salivary amylase works best at pH 7. Which curve represents the activity of salivary amylase? This is a very obvious question, as you can see clearly from the graph that B is the B's rate stops at pH 7. So the answer for this is B. Question number 13. The following experiment was set up using leaves on the same plant. Both leaves were left to photosynthesize for 6 hours. Which set of results should be obtained after testing both leaves for starch? Answer for this is C. Partially blue-black, all blue-black. Now let's look at the leaf X. As the black plastic on leaf X is blocking the sunlight, this causes it to be partially blue-black, while leaf Y has a clear plastic, and the clear plastic allows all the sunlight throughout the leaf, which turns the leaf to be completely black. Number 14. The diagrams show cross-sections through a stem and a root of flowering plant. Which pair of lines label similar tissues? First of all, xylem is always facing the inside, and phlegm is always facing the outside. The answer for this is D, S and W. That is because both of it are xylem, and they're both facing the inside. If we wanted to look at phlegm, it would have to be V and Q, which we don't have in the options. So the answer should be D. Question number 15. The diagram shows part of the human alimentary canal. Which part absorbs digested food? Answer for this is C, because most of the absorptions happen in the small intestine and it absorbs digested food. It is not D, which is a large intestine, because it absorbs undigested food, water, and minerals. C is a small intestine. A is a stomach, and B is a pancreas. Answer for this is C. 16. The diagram shows the levels of nitrogenous waste products in the blood of a person living at first on a low protein diet and then on a high protein diet. What is the waste product? A. Amino acid. Definitely not, as amino acid breaks down protein. B. Nitrate. Nitrate is used to make protein. C. Protein. That is definitely not the answer. So the answer is D. Urea. Because when we digest protein, it is going to excrete urea through our urine. So the waste product becomes a urea. So the answer is D. Number 17. The diagram shows the blood vessels associated with the liver and small intestine. After a meal, which blood vessel will contain the greatest concentration of sugar? This diagram might seem a little bit complicated, but it really is not. So right after A comes circulation in small intestine. And small intestine absorbs food, so when it comes out of small intestine, there will be a lot of concentration of sugar. So what comes right after small intestine is B. So the answer is B. Number 18. The diagram shows an experiment to investigate anaerobic respiration in yeast. In which test tube will alcohol be produced? Now, first of all, to produce alcohol, there are 3 things you need in order for alcohol to be released. Those are yeast, sugar, and the right temperature. Let's look at A. So A only has yeast and paraffin. Paraffin is a fire, so this is a temperature, right? So this is wrong. B, it has boiled yeast, and when you boil an yeast, yeast becomes dead. So this will not work. So wrong. C. Now C has yeast, sugar, and the right temperature. But the only problem we have here is that the yeast is boiled. So eliminate that as well. The only one left is D. Now D has yeast, sugar, and the right temperature to produce alcohol. So the answer for this is D. Question 19. Which are the products of respiration? Now first, the formula of respiration is C6H12O6, which is glucose, plus 6O2 oxygen, which becomes 6CO2 carbon dioxide plus 6H2O hydrogen plus ATP, which is a pure energy. So let's look at A, carbon dioxide and nitrogen. There's no nitrogen in respiration if you look at the formula, so wrong. Let's jump to C, nitrogen and water. Again, nitrogen does not contain in respiration. D, oxygen and carbon dioxide. Oxygen and carbon dioxide has nothing to do together in this formula. So we're going to go back to B. B has carbon dioxide and water. And the formula has 6CO2 plus 6H2O. So these are the products of respiration. So the answer is B, carbon dioxide and water. Number 20. The diagram shows some blood vessels near the surface of the skin. If vasoconstriction occurs at X, what happens to the blood flow at Y and Z? Now, vasoconstriction happens when blood vessels become narrower because of the tightening of the muscles in their walls. So when this occurs, there will be less blood flowing in and less blood flowing out. So the answer should be blood flow at Y decreases and blood flow at Z decreases, so the answer is A. Thank you for watching till the end. See you next time.